Welcome back to another walkthrough. This walkthrough we're going to complete Chapter 4 Grader Project in Excel, Staff Lookup Forms. Let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and click on the link. We'll download our materials. There's only 2 materials that we need to download today. Do not download all files. Go ahead and download and print your instructions, and then download your student file, and then open up your student file. And hit enable editing. Now, what we're going to learn in this particular assignment is how to do a VLOOKUP formula, which is one of the more useful formulas in Excel. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we need to display the second worksheet named Warehouse Payment Table. Notice down here at the bottom we have several different worksheets. Go ahead and click on Warehouse Payment Table. So on this step, we are going to use a PMT function. To do this, we're going to click on cell B8. And using this information right here, we want to find out what our payment would be. So to do this, we're going to come up here to our FX button. And we want to use a PMT function. So we're going to type in PMT and hit go. And there it is. There's our PMT function. Go ahead and hit OK. And what we want to do is we're going to start off by using the rate is going to be B4 divided by 12. So we're going to type in B4, and then divided by symbol is the slash and 12. B3 is going to be our number of payments. So we're going to type in B3 under NPER. And then our present value, our PV, is going to be B2, because if you notice, the present value of the loan is $975,000. So once we come down here and hit OK, it's going to give us in red a negative number. Anytime you see a red number, that means it is negative. And we want to make this a positive number. So let's come back up here to our formula bar where it has our PMT function. And in between the equal sign and PMT, go ahead and put a minus sign, a dash, and then go ahead and hit enter. And that will change it from a negative number to a positive number. So if we had a loan of $975,000 and we were going to make 120 payments on it with an interest rate of 5.25%, our payment would be $10,460.94. But we're interested in finding a whole range of monthly payments and choose the payment option that's best for us. So we're going to create a 2-variable data table in B8 through H16. So let's go ahead and highlight B8 all the way down to H16. Notice that B8 is not grayed out. That is our active cell, but it is highlighted. The entire range is highlighted. And let's create a 2-variable data table. To do this, let's go to our Data tab. And from our Data tab, we're going to come over here to our Forecast group. And we're going to click on What If Analysis. And we're going to do Data Table. And our input row, our row input cell, is going to be B3. And our column input is going to be B4. So B3 is the number of payments. Our column output is going to be our interest payment. And go ahead and hit OK. And it's going to put in a whole bunch of numbers here. Well, the numbers are kind of not formatted properly. So we're going to go ahead and format the numbers a little better so we can get an idea of what these numbers mean. So go ahead and highlight from C9 all the way down to H16, basically all of these numbers that we just created. Let's go to the Home tab. And I'm going to go back to my cell styles here. Click on cell styles. And I should have selected currency right here. And now we can see a little bit better what our payment options are. So if we were to do a 60-month payment option at 7.5%, our payment would be over $19,000. On the other hand, if we had a payment, if we had a 360 months of payments at 4%, we would have $4,654. What we want to do is we want to select the option that is closest to but less than $10,000 per month. So that is going to be right here in D16. So ideally, we would want a payment, or we would want a loan for 120 months at 4% interest. So go ahead and select D16. And we are going to apply the note cell style. And to find that cell style, we're going to come up here to our styles group. Now, depending on the resolution monitor that you have, you may have some of these cell styles showing. For me, I have no cell styles showing because my resolution is not the greatest. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on cell styles. But you should see a couple of these most likely on your monitor. So under cell styles, we're going to click on the note cell style. And that's going to highlight this in yellow for us. Let's go ahead and save our workbook. All right, for step number 4, we want to display the fourth worksheet named Job Information. So we're going to come down here to Job Information. And we are going to have this nice little table here. And we want to create what's called a named range. But first we want to sort the range. So let's go ahead and highlight A5 all the way down to C6 or C11. So A5 to C11. And we are going to sort. So let's come to the Home tab here. From the Home tab, we're going to come over here to our editing group where it says Sort and Filter. I'm going to click on Sort and Filter, and we want to do a custom sort. So I'm going to click on Custom Sort. And we want to sort the range by job code. So where it says Sort By, we're going to select Job Code. And we want to do it in ascending order, which is A to Z. And go ahead and hit OK. So after we've sorted this list, we want to create what's called a named range. And with a named range, it allows us to use that named range in formulas, meaning we don't have to type in all of the different cells that we want to use. In this particular case, we want to make A5 to A11 a named range. So go ahead and deselect our selected list and highlight A5 all the way down to A11. Once you have A5 to A11 highlighted, come up here to our name box, highlight the A5 and type in job underscore code. Make sure you capitalize the J, make sure you capitalize the C, and hit enter. And now we have named this range and we can use it in a formula. So now let's go ahead and go to our staffing plan worksheet. And let's highlight A9 all the way down to A18. We want to do what's called data validation, meaning we only want certain information to be input into these cells. So go ahead and come to our Data tab. And from our Data tab under Data Tools, there's this icon right here. If you hover over it, it says Data Validation. Go ahead and click on that. And where it says Allow Any Value, we're going to change it to List. And we're going to make the source equal job underscore code. Make sure you capitalize the J, make sure you capitalize the C. And what this is going to do is it's only going to allow us to input information into this cell that comes straight from that named range that we created. And go ahead and hit OK. And now notice there is a down arrow here in this cell. So let's go ahead and click on cell A9. So A9 is the active cell. And hit the down arrow. And notice we can only select something that it was in that named list, that named range that we created. Here we want to type and we want to select MG. And then go ahead and click on cell B9. Now we want to insert a VLOOKUP. And what a VLOOKUP is going to do is it's going to look up this job code. So it's going to see M-MG and it's going to put in the description for us automatically from our table. So to do this, we're going to come up here to our FX button and we are going to type in VLOOKUP and hit go. And there it is. There's our VLOOKUP. Go ahead and hit OK. Now our lookup value is going to be A9. And notice right here it should say M-MG because it's going to look up whatever is in A9. Now we need to select our table array. So go ahead and click on table array. Make sure your cursor is right there in that empty box. And anything that you click on at this point is going to be recorded. So we're going to click on job information. And we're going to highlight A5 all the way down to C11 and let go. Now we want to make this an absolute cell reference. And if you remember from our previous Excel chapter, to make an absolute cell reference, hit the F4 key at the top of your keyboard. Now, if for some reason F4 does not work, or if you have a laptop, hold down the FN key on your keyboard. Usually it's down by the space bar. Once you're holding down the FN key, you can hit the F4 key. And if that doesn't work, you can put a $ before the A $ after the A. You can put a $ before the C, and put a $ after the C. And that will do the same thing. It'll make it an absolute cell reference. And you're going to need that when we copy this formula down. Now also, we need to know what column we want. So remember, we were looking for the description. We wanted to look up the description, which the description is in column 2. So right here where it says column index number, go ahead and put 2. So now we have all of our information. A9 is our lookup value. Our job information and this table range right here, A5 to C11. And then our column index number is 2 because we want the information in the second column. And go ahead and hit OK. And notice that it will automatically put in manager for us. Once we have this manager in here, we want to copy the formula down all the way to B18. So remember to copy a formula down. Remember you hover over this little dot right here in the bottom corner of our cell. Click, hold, and drag it all the way down to B18 and let go. Now you get a whole bunch of NAs in here. That's because we haven't selected anything here yet. So now we're going to go to C9 and we're going to type in the number of positions is going to be 1. The type is going to be management. So type in management under D9. And then our salary, we want to do another VLOOKUP. We want to look up that table, what our salary is. So we're going to come back up here to our FX button. And right here we have our VLOOKUP because we just used it. Go ahead and hit OK. Our lookup value is going to be the same. It's going to be A9, so type in A9. Our table array, go ahead and put our cursor next to table array, is going to be that same table. So we're going to go back to job information. From our job information worksheet, we're going to highlight A5 all the way down to C11 and let go. Remember, we want to make it an absolute cell reference, so hit that F4 key again. Once again, if you can't do the F4 key, put the $ signs in where they need to go. This time our index is going to be the third column. So the salary information is in the third column. So make sure under column index you type in 3 and hit OK. And it's going to put a salary in automatically for us of $75,000. And now we want to copy this formula down. So go ahead and hover over this dot under E9 right here, this dot. Click, hold, and drag it all the way down to E18. And you're going to get a whole bunch of NAs here. Once again, we don't have anything here yet. Go ahead and click on cell A10. And we're going to hit the down arrow, and we want to select C cash. So right here, C cash. And notice when we select C cash, it's going to automatically put cashier in here for us. And it's automatically going to put in the salary for us. It went ahead and looked up that information for us on our job information table. So now we're going to go ahead and we have 3 positions for cashier. So go ahead and type in 3. And notice that we go ahead and when we click on cell D10, it automatically puts our budget amount. So what this formula right here is doing is it's taking our salary amount and timesing that by 3. So now under cell D10, we want to type in cashier. And we'll go ahead and click on cell A11, hit the down arrow button right there, and we're going to type in C-CSA. Notice that it puts in customer service. We're going to type in 1, and under D11, we are going to type in customer service. Notice how it already put in the salary for us on our VLOOKUP. Let's do that again for cell A12. Let's click on A12, hit the down arrow. We're going to select M-AMG. Notice how it puts in assistant manager for us. It looked it up for us and the salary. And we're going to go ahead and put number of positions is 3. And this is management. And notice how it put in the salary for us and it multiplied the salary by 3 to give us our budgeted amount. So VLOOKUP is a very powerful function that we can use so we don't have to redundantly put in a whole bunch of information. So now we want to delete any of the unused rows. So we want to come over here and hover over the 13. Go ahead and click on the 13, hold, and drag it all the way down to 18. And when you do that, it's going to highlight 13 all the way to 18, those rows. Right click on the 13 and hit delete. And that's going to delete all of those unused rows, and it's going to bring total right underneath our salary. And it's going to put it in cell E13. Now we want to sum our budgeted amount. So we'll go ahead and click on cell F13. And let's go to our Home tab. And on our Home tab, under our editing group, just click on Auto Sum. And that will go ahead and put the formula in for us. We just have to hit enter. And now we have our formula. So our budgeted amount is $387,750. We want to apply the total cell style to that F13. So let's click on F13, come to our Home tab. We have our Styles group. You probably have some styles showing. I do not, so I'm going to click on Cell Style here. You might have to click on a down arrow, a line with the down arrow with a line above it. And I'm going to select Total. So go ahead and click on cell B9, and here is the formula that we created. The mistake I made was I selected A5 when I should have selected A4. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to change my A5. I'm just going to come up here, delete the 5, and change it to a 4. And hit enter. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on cell B9. And I'm going to copy that formula down again. So I'm going to go ahead and hover over that dot in B9, click, hold, and just drag it down to B12 and let go. Nothing will change except now all of the formulas will reflect the A4. And I need to do that again under salary. I need to click on cell E9. And I need to change this A5. I need to change that to A4. And once I change that to A4, go ahead and hit enter. And then I'm going to click on E9 again. I'm going to hover over this dot, my autofill handle, click hold, and drag it down to E12. Nothing again will change, except that now all the formulas will reflect this A4. Now it wants us to display the bracket revenue worksheet. And on this bracket revenue worksheet, we have some errors. Notice these little green triangles here. This means that there are errors in our formulas that Excel has detected. So let's go ahead and click on cell I5. Notice in I5 there is some type of an issue. We actually have a yellow exclamation point. And we're going to come up here under our formula auditing, and we're going to click on trace precedence. And now we can take a look and see what's wrong with our formula. So it looks like it's taking second quarter, and it is taking information from crystal bracelets. Well, if you look here, this is supposed to be beaded bracelets, not crystal bracelets. So this formula should not read B14, it should read B15, where beaded bracelets are. So all we have to do is come up here on our editing bar here, go ahead and click right after the 14. Let's delete that 4 and put in a 5. And now it's going to put the correct formula in for us. Go ahead and hit enter. And notice now that error has been fixed. But we still have other errors. Let's go ahead and click on cell M6. And notice that we have an error here. We want to see what's going on in this particular cell. So to do that, we are going to come up here to our formula auditing. We're going to click on error checking. And in our error checking, it's going to give us some information. And it says error in cell divided by 0. Well, what does that mean? Is that we can take a look and see that it's taking this particular formula and dividing it by L10. Well, if you come down here to L10, notice there is nothing in L10, meaning it is dividing it by 0. So we need to fix and change that 10 to a 9. So if you come to our little box here, we can hit edit in formula bar. And we can change that 10 to a 9. And once we change it to a 9, we can hit resume. And now it's going to take us to F7, where if you look in F7, it says there is an error. It says inconsistent formula. Well, we can go ahead and copy the formula from above. And that will fix that issue. And it looks like I'm having some issues with my error checking, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix them myself. So I'm just going to go ahead and exit out of this error checking. So I know that my issue is here. What I need to do is I need to copy the formula from cell F6. And that will fix my error here. So I'm going to come up here to cell F6. So click on F6, and we're going to copy this formula down. So hover over this dot right here, click hold, and drag it down one spot to F7 and let go. And that will fix that formula for us. And then notice we have another issue here. If I click on that, it's giving me an error, and I want to copy it from the left. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this formula right here in cell I8. And I'm going to click on my little dot down here. I'm going to click hold that dot and copy it over and let go. And it's going to fix that for us as well. And now I'm noticing that I'm having an issue with this formula again. It's giving me a 0. So what I can do here is I can go ahead and copy this formula down if it's giving me an issue. I can go ahead and click on cell M5, hover over this dot, click, hold, and drag it down and copy that formula down. I should get 19%. So once I've fixed all of my different errors here, I'm going to save my workbook. Now, if for some reason this formatting is different, this 19%, say you have a different number, go ahead and use your format painter. So go ahead and click on cell M5. Come to the Home tab, click on Format Painter, and then you can click on cell M6, and it will copy that format down for us, and you should now have the 19%. So now it says in the Sheet tab row, right-click any sheet tab. So down here is our sheet tab row. Go ahead and right-click on Job Information and hit Select All Sheets. So now anything that we do to one sheet is going to happen to all the different sheets. So we're going to go to our Page Setup dialog box. So let's go ahead and come up here to our Page Layout tab. And from our Page Layout tab, we're going to click on this little guy right here, our Page Setup dialog box. And we're going to click on Margins. And we want to center on page horizontally. So down here where it says Center on Page, we're going to hit Center on Page horizontally. And we're going to click on Header Footer. And we're going to do a custom footer. And in the left section, we want to put in a file name right here, this icon. Go ahead and hit OK. Go ahead and hit OK. Now we want to unselect all of our worksheets. So let's go ahead and right click on Job Information Worksheet again and ungroup sheets. And now we only want to select Warehouse Payment Table, Staffing Plan, and Bracket Revenue. So let's go ahead and click on Warehouse Payment. Hold down your Control key. Select Staffing Plan. While your Control key is still held down, select Bracket Revenue. And from here, we want to change our orientation. So come up here to our Page Setup, click on Orientation, and we're going to change it to Landscape. Now we want to only have Bracket Revenue selected, so go ahead and right-click on Staffing Plan and hit Ungroup Sheets, and then click on Bracket Revenue. And we're going to come up here to our Scale to Fit, and we're going to scale to fit to 90%. So change this from 100% to 90%. And lastly, we want to put New York Revenue as our property, as our tag. So let's click on our file. From File, Show All Properties. And where it says Tags, add a tag, go ahead and type in New York Revenue. And make sure you capitalize the N and Y for New York. And we are done. Let's go ahead and save our document and hit save again for good measure. And now we can go ahead and exit out of our document. We can come back to our download starting materials, hit the X, and I'm going to choose a file again. I'm going to go ahead and choose my student file and open it and upload and submit for grading. And then it will close the assignment. So I'm going to scroll down, click on the three dots, view submission, and I now have a 97%. If I wanted to, I could go ahead and go in here and refix it again, but I'm not worried about it. But feel free, go ahead and fix the issues that we had and resubmit it for the best grade possible. Once again, if you need to contact me through Canvas, and have a wonderful day.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to the channel, as I'll be posting new walkthroughs and tech tips each week. Check back regularly for new content, and have a wonderful day.